Hello dear UPSC aspirants, and we are ready with the must-read articles for 16th January. Yesterday 15th January there was no video released by us because the Hindu did not publish its newspaper because of the auspicious event of Pongal. Right? So yesterday Hindu took a break, I took a break, and I hope you guys took a break too. But so let's start today's newspaper without wasting your time. So the first article is India's goods exports dip 1%. Trade deficit narrows to 3-month low. So this article I have taken not for the data point of view but more from concept point of view. What is trade deficit? Trade deficit is the gap between the import and export of any country. Okay, so in India we have higher imports, right, than the exports. Exports is ranging around 35 to 38 billion dollars, and import is around 54 to 59.95 billion dollars. Okay, so that's why India has a trade deficit. So there are certain implications of trade deficit. If you are, if we are importing a lot of, final good material, so it will have implications on our currency and depreciation, right? And also on our net reserve, net assets. Whereas if we are importing a lot of raw material for manufacturing in the country, then it is considered good trade deficit. Okay, so it also gives some symptoms of how good manufacturing we have. Okay, if we have good manufacturing, we'll be exporting a lot and importing just raw material and importing the high valued final goods. Okay, so but India's manufacturing is also not that strong on par with China and other South Korean countries like South Korea, US. Right, so why India's trade deficit is so high? Because India has to import a lot of crude oil. 80% of our crude oil is imported. Pharma we have to export because of API. We have a lot of APIs we have to import from China. Semiconductors also we are not we are not producing it sufficient for ourselves. Gold, last 3 months of high trade deficit was because of gold imports were spiked up in the last 3 months, okay, which has reduced in December. So these are some of the reasons because of high trade. These are some of the reasons behind high trade deficit, and also our lower manufacturing capability. Okay, so we should know about the ins and outs of this concept. Today I am a little under the weather, so please bear with me. Okay, so this is another article. Gaza ceasefire agreement ready, says US and Hamas. So in Israel and Hamas agreed to ceasefire deal to pause the devastating war in the Gaza Strip. So Hamas are the agency working for Palestinian organization, and Israel. A lot of fights, and a lot of citizens have been imprisoned by each other. So this ceasefire is long awaited, which was done in Doha, but it is still to be finalized. It will be coming in the next few days of newspaper. Let's move to the next page. So this is an interesting example. Delhi police appoints a joint commissioner to check AI misuse on social media ahead of the election. So you can use it in GS paper 2, the initiatives taken for better elections, more fair elections. And also GS paper 3, how social media is bringing a lot of deep fake news in our society, and that can lead to a lot of chaos and fights within the society. So they have appointed a nodal officer to monitor social media for potential misuse. They are tasked to identify deep fake videos and misleading messages which is shared on social media application and websites. So they will need us. They are having a software to track election related content also in real time. They need trained manpower, interactive tools, and social media intermediaries. And one of the issues that they face are that social media intermediaries are registered abroad, like Meta. So to deal with even a single case of deepfake content, they have to follow foreign laws and policy structures. So these are certain issues that we have to face with social media, deepfakes, and AIs. Let's move to the next article. So this is just an example of whistleblower. Okay, when whistleblowing act comes in GS paper 4 or GS paper 2, we should have certain fresh examples also. So there is a Taurus investigation scam going on in Maharashtra, for which a CA Abhishek Mahendra had brought out the massive fraud that they were doing. Right. So he's an example of whistleblower bravery, and High Court has ordered police cover for this whistleblower. Let's move to the next article. This is also just from prelims point of view, but also a little bit from security challenges and their management in border areas under GS3, internal security. So the Border Security Force and the Border Guard Bangladesh held a border coordination meeting at Petrapol-Benapol border. So if the question comes, where is this Petrapol-Benapol border? It is India-Bangladesh border. To discuss critical issues of mutual interest. What were these critical issues? Development projects in border areas, implementation of the single row fence, and effective measures to combat cross-border crimes such as cattle smuggling, human trafficking, and illegal immigrants. So these are certain issues that India-Bangladesh border are facing. Let's move to the next article. Now this is an interesting article. One man initiative lights up Kolkata's heritage buildings, evokes past through crowdfunding. So this is an interesting example where a single citizen is participating in the governance and is also using crowdfunding activity and is also showing a responsibility towards the heritage of the country and the city. So this person, Mudar Pathreya, he has been lighting up heritage buildings in Kolkata so that city's history is visible round the clock, right? It's a one-man initiative for brightening the city's evening with parts and entirely through crowdfunding. Okay, so he has said that the initiative was crowdfunded because it enabled sizable restoration cost to be divided up across a number of people. One person cannot do it. Even it is expensive on government also. So if a lot of people are doing it, it becomes easier. That is what is the benefit of crowdfunding. It made conservation funding sustainable. That is the conservation measures for heritage and enhanced public engagement, empowerment and pride. It is not only helping the properties attract events, but also helping initiate nighttime tourism possibilities. Okay, so it is acting as a neighborhood pride and respect. You can use this example, okay, when how citizens should participate in the governance. Next article is more important from prelims point of view. Students detained in Tripura over Roman script for 𝐞𝐥𝐵𝐴. So what is 𝐞𝐥𝐵𝐴? 𝐞𝐥𝐵𝐴 is it's the language of Tripura. A majority of the tribes in the Tripura state speak 𝐞𝐥𝐵𝐴, which has been recognized as the second state language after Bengali in Tripura. Okay, that's it for this article. Let's move to the next article. This is again important from prelims point of view. Submarine 2 warships commissioned. Okay, so prelims fact: INS Nilgiri, INS 𝐿𝙤𝙤, and INS Surat, hailing the first try commissioning as a significant leap towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. Prime Minister Modi dedicated the naval platforms, 2 warships and 1 submarine to the nation. So INS Nilgiri, what is INS Nilgiri? Is the lead ship of Project 17A frigates. INS 𝐷𝐼𝐸 is the 6th and final submarine of Project 75 Kalvari class. And INS Surat is the 4th and final ship of the Project 15B destroyers. This kind of prelims fact question can come because the army kind of questions are coming in 2024 prelims. It has been asked. Let's move to the next article. Directly going to the editorial page. Now this illegal rat hole mining we have been covering in the last 10 to 15 days. It was covered in detail on 14th January text and context. I request students who have not watched, go and visit the 14th January video. And the fact I'm repeating, NGT has banned rat hole mining because of health issues and environmental hazards in 2014. Okay, and Supreme Court of India in 2019 had criticized the officials and government, saying that whether it was possible for such mining to continue without the connivance of officials. So they are indicating if officials are also participating in it. Okay, so these are issues. That's it. So next, let's move to the next article. Safety and pity. So this is about the stampede that happened around Tirumala temple in Tirupati, where a lot of people every year come to celebrate 𝐿𝐴𝐸 Ekdasi celebrations in the world-renowned hill of Tirumala. Right. So this will come under GS3 disaster management. So they have quoted the National Crime Records Bureau, which we also quoted on 28th December, that over 3,000 lives were lost in stampedes at religious events from 1996 to 2022 in India. Okay, so this is the data you can use. Although the Tirumala hill and the administration, the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams administration has been using a lot of measures like well-dispersed token distribution, deployment of over 3,000 police personnel, but this was not sufficient. Okay, this online booking system and additional security personnel was not sufficient. They needed more innovative measures. So this article is suggesting some measures, right? They are giving ideas like involve prioritizing pilgrims who have never visited Tirupati over repeat visitors, thereby ensuring more equitable darshan. So like if a lot of people are coming, people who have never visited should be given priority, okay, and there should be a certain cap on the number of visitors, right? And they're also talking about VIP darshan. So a robust database and a roster system could help regulate devotee flow and ensure fairness. The other issue about this Tirumala Hill is there's an ecological impact on Tirumala Hills because it is part of Seshachalam Biosphere Reserve, okay, and because of so many tourists coming, there are deforestation, urbanization and massive footfalls threatening the biodiversity, okay. So balancing the human need to connect with the divine with the imperative to preserve nature requires innovative and sustainable approaches. One of them is capping the number of pilgrims every day, okay, promoting virtual darshan. So a lot of people might not go, a lot of old people will appreciate the virtual darshan experiences in line with the strict conservation policy. So these are the steps you can write. So let's move to this article. We have also mentioned about China's expansionist strategy. What China has been doing, this comes under GS paper 2, India and its neighborhood relations. So China, along the China-India border, is showing a lot of aggression, threatening India's territorial integrity and also undermining the sovereignty. So the announcement of the construction of dam on the 𝘿𝙤𝙤 River that we've talked about, and the creation of 2 new counties in the northeastern Ladakh have set alarm bells ringing. So the editor is saying India as the dominant regional power in South Asia should take a lead in shaping a collective response to China's aggressive actions by involving Nepal, Bhutan and Bangladesh and other countries who are affected by such China's aggressive stance. So unlike the Southeast Asian nations which have employed collective response measures through multilateral organizations such as Mekong River Commission and the ASEAN, South Asian countries should also do something to address their concerns with China on bilateral basis, okay? And India should lead it because it is a regional power in the region of South Asia. Unified approach including regional forums, multilateral institution or enhanced diplomatic coordination would strengthen South Asia's position in addressing China. Let's go to the next article. Okay, so in this article, does blood money have a legal standing? So we are not supposed to know a lot about it, but from prelims point of view, what is blood money? Okay, it comes under Islamic Sharia law. It is mentioned in Islamic Sharia law. So blood money hota kya hai? Blood money or diya finds footing in the Islamic Sharia law and is followed in countries that incorporate Sharia law in their legislation, like Islamic countries like Yemen, Pakistan, Iran, okay. Under the rule of diya, a select quantity of a valuable asset, primarily monetary, has to be paid by the perpetrator of the crime to the victim or the victim's family if the latter has died, okay. So they say the end goal, as the law says, is not to put a price tag on the human life, but to alleviate the plight and suffering of the affected family and their potential loss of income. So you can read about it in the gist. Okay, it is not there in India's formal legal system at all. Okay, but it is there in other countries where Indian people go and work as laborers. So the recently that case of Nimisha Priya's case in the spotlight, where several other instances involving Indian national where blood money has been involved is there. You can read about it in the gist. Only that much is important. Let's go to the next article. So here there is a quiz about Roman Emperor Augustus Caesar. So Augustus Caesar is hailed as one of the most famous and successful rulers by the historians. So you should search about him, what his diplomacy, his initiatives brought so much peace, which is also called as imperial peace in the Roman Empire. Okay, so for essay point of view, you need certain examples, and we should just not limit ourselves to Ashoka and Akbar. We should, spread our wings to other, parts of the world also, where Augustus Caesar was also one of the most successful empire, Roman Empire. So Augustus Caesar was the nephew of Julius Caesar, and how they grew and how they did things, you can search. Okay, let's move to the next article. So this is also important from prelims point of view. 3 Indian nuclear entities no more on US restriction list. So US is now trying to remove restrictions, and it has removed it on 3 Indian nuclear entities to remove hurdles for civil nuclear partnership between India and America. They are trying to encourage the civil nuclear partnership between India and US. So the 3 entities are Bhabha Atomic Research Center (BARC), Indira Gandhi Atomic Research Center (IGCAR), and the Indian Rare Earths, according to the US Bureau of Indian Industry and Security, BIS of US Bureau. Okay, so you should know what is the attitude of US about our civil nuclear agreement. Let's move to the next article. Easy access to clean toilets essential for human dignity. So Supreme Court declared that easy access to clean public toilets, including women, and other vulnerables, is not just a matter of convenience, but a basic right and essential part of human dignity. But they are saying human toilets are all everywhere, but they are not in a clean, clean status. So they need to be maintained. That is what the court is trying to say. Let's move to the next article. So this is important from history point of view. It is also important from a mains and prelims point of view. He can be asked, okay, Agasthyar's legacy to be the focus of Kashi Tamil Sangamam 3.0. So third edition of Kashi Tamil Sangamam will be the legacy and philosophy of Maharishi Agasthyar. Okay, so our Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has said the intellectual brilliance of Agasthyar was the bedrock of the Tamil language and literature, as well as the shared values, knowledge, traditions and heritage of the country. It will be held in Namo Ghat in Varanasi. Okay, the Sangamam will be held against the backdrop of Kumbh Mela. Okay, so it talks about the inseparable and timeless bond between Tamil Nadu and Kashi. So who was Maharishi Agasthyar? He is called father of Siddha medicine. Okay, and is also credited of making good Tamil grammar, Agatyam. Okay, Agatyam. He is one of the important scholars or saints in Hinduism, and he is related with Shaivism tradition. Shaivism. Okay, so you should know these basic things about Agasthyar since it is just coming in the news. Let's move to the next article. Last page of the day, science page. Strange particle possesses mass when moving in one direction, not another. So this subatomic particles are of lot interest to physicists. In 2013, Nobel Prize for Physics was given for God's particle. They found the God's particle called Higgs boson. So we are interested in subatomic particles. So this article is talking about subatomic particles. So matter can be both wave and particle. This most of us must have read. If you take the particle route, these subatomic particles are what you can say the universe is made of. So universe is made of very small things. So what are the subatomic particles? So they are saying a common one is as fermions and bosons. Fermions. What is fermions? They make up matter. They are like the matter part of it. Okay. And what is bosons? They are the forces between the matter. Okay, so if you consider electron and proton as fermions, photons will be bosons. Photons is the energy packets. Okay, and electrons or protons have masses. That's why they are fermions. Okay, fermions can be further classified as Dirac or Majorana fermions. Okay, so Dirac fermions that may or may not have mass but are always different from their antiparticles. And what is Majorana fermions? They are also their own antiparticles. Okay, so neutrinos. We have also read about neutrinos. They are suspected to be Majorana fermions. The subatomic particles are a little bit complicated, but we are supposed to know at least basic things of it. So fermions are related with mass. Bosons are related with energy. This basic thing you should know. So what physicists are trying? Physicists have developed a common theory that collects subatomic particles under a unified description called the Standard Model. Okay, this is called Standard Model of Particle Physics. Physicists can explore new physics in terms of whether it agrees or disagrees with the Standard Model of Particle Physics. Okay, so Dirac fermions have mass and aren't their own antiparticles. A semi-Dirac fermions has mass when it is moving in one particular direction but not in a perpendicular direction. Okay, so know about fermions and bosons at least. Okay, So let's move to the next article. Other part of the article is very complicated, so at least know the basic terms. So the next article, US, Japan, moon landers launch on single rocket. So a SpaceX Falcon 9, we know who owns SpaceX, okay, Elon Musk. The name of the rocket is Falcon 9, launches with the Blue Ghost lunar lander of USA and iSpace's Resilience lander of Japan. So these two countries are trying to launch it on the private vehicle. That is what the news is about. Lunar landers built by US and Japanese companies launched their rideshare to the moon, showcasing the private sector's growing role in space exploration. So till now, what was the thing? Until recent, till now, the state-owned agencies were doing it, right? So Texas-based Intuitive Machine is the first company to successfully touch down on the Earth's celestial neighbor. Until recently, soft landings were done only by a handful of well-funded national space agencies, starting with Soviet Union in 1966. Okay, so now several emerging US companies are attempting to replicate this feat under NASA's experimental Commercial Lunar Payload Services program, which is designed to cut costs and stimulate a lunar economy. So according to US, private bodies will cut costs as much as possible. So they are trying to involve private bodies also. Okay, so the US plans to establish a sustained human presence on the moon later this decade under this Artemis program, okay, and in which commercial partners will also help. So this part only is important. The US plans to establish a sustained human presence on the moon under the Artemis program. What is Artemis program? Human presence on moon, leveraging commercial partners to deliver hardware at a fraction of the cost. So this is what is article about, okay, and that's it for 16th January. Thank you.